Good morning, all.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, madam.
Today's topic focuses on cloud computing trends and security. For now, our guest speaker is Mr. A. Jivanandam, sir. He has been working as an assistant professor in information technology and associate NCC officer in Congo Engineering College. He has completed BE in the branch of Computer Science and Engineering in Anna University, Chennai. He completed MS in Middlesex University, London. He completed many consultancy projects, among which is eRoad app for Collector Office, eRoad, and completed many training activities like NCC Air Wing and IPPC.
Silently போட்டுவிட்டேன்.
Now, I request Mr. Jivanandam sir to take over the session.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks for the introduction. I hope my voice is audible. Please confirm me, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Voice will be.
Is audible. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, sir. Okay.
Yes.
Right. Today, the agenda is quite straightforward. We will be discussing about what is meant by cloud computing. Then we will be jumping on what AWS does in this cloud computing. Then we will be discussing about some of the services provided by AWS, like what is meant by IAM and what security it provides, and what is meant by S3, EC2, and how to create a chatbot, and also we'll see some of the services in the AWS. So before jumping into the AWS, let us quickly recall what is meant by a cloud computing. So in a layman term, cloud computing means it is above our head. Wherever you go, we can able to access our data. Am I right? So theoretically, cloud computing means it is an on-demand delivery of computer power, or it may be a storage, or it may be an application, or maybe any other resources through a cloud service platform with the help of our internet. The main advantage here is pay-as-you-go pricing. So we will be paying for what we are using it. So that is the main advantage of cloud computing. So before the cloud computing comes, how we traditionally do. So traditionally, we need to build an infrastructure in our premises, and it starts from RAM, it starts from a hard disk. Okay, we need to build the infrastructure in our premises. But now, we don't want to invest that much amount here. So we can make use of the cloud platform. Like we need to think about the space constraint, we need to think about the staff, we need to think about the electricity, and we need to think about the security and expenditure, running expenditure. Okay. So these are the things, when we are implement in physically, that is in premises. But now what happened, because of this cloud, we don't want to much worry about these one. All these things, we will get with the help of the software. If our need changes, what we can do? The software can change much more quickly and cost effectively than your hardware. Example, now you are establishing infrastructure for 8 gig of RAM for your application. And maybe in after a year, the scalability increases and you want to go for 32 gig. So if you're going for physically means what we need to do, we need to purchase extra RAM and we need to go for it, right? So now as our demand changes, if it is in cloud platform, we can, with the help of the software on demand, we can increase it easily. So that is the most effective thing in this cloud platform. So three models of cloud computing, as we know: infrastructure, platform, and software as a services. So infrastructure, I just give a previous example, like RAM, hardwares, those kind of things, comes under infrastructure. So platform, maybe your Windows platform, if you want to run a application on Mac platform, but you don't have a Mac computer. So for that, you need to go and buy the Mac computer. But now, with the help of the cloud, it gives a Mac platform for you to develop your Mac applications. Software as a service, the best example is your Google Docs. So we don't want to worry about installing the software. We just use the software via website as a services. That is the best example. Google Docs is the best example for software as a service. So these three models are the main way in which cloud computing helps the users. We just quickly compare on premises versus the all in cloud platform. So example, if you are establishing the hardware in your premises, okay, so sometimes it will be utilized and sometimes it will be unutilized, and we need to pay for that entire things. Like we need to pay for the electricity, we need to pay for the AC current, we need to pay for the internet bandwidth. And on premises, if your demand changes, we need to purchase the additional hardwares, and we cannot forecast it, right? So it directly deals with your financial aspect. But if it is in cloud, means like the main thing is there is no wastage here. It will meet your demand. Okay, we are going for pay as you go. Suppose if you want to scalable for 100 users, you can scalable within a click. Suppose if you want to scalable for 1,000, yeah, that can also be done. Here I would like to put one best example here is Amazon Big Billion Day sales. In Amazon Big Billion Day sales example, today if you see that Amazon hits means approximately from E-Road it may be like 1,000 clicks or 1,000 visits. Suppose if it is in a Big Billion Day sales, particularly from this town, there will be a more than a lakh of visitors. So at the time, the traffic increases, you need to auto scale it. Okay, that can be done, achieved with the help of cloud platforms. That is not possible in the on-premises, right? So that's where the cloud computing plays here. Right. And in cloud, you don't want to go for any investments. As you're going for pay as you go, there is no investment is needed. But in on-premises, it needs a large purchase, large amount of financial thing is involved. And for running, ongoing costs, for cloud, it is very minimum. But for on-premises, yes, we need a labor cost. We need to put a security, we need to put a expert to monitor, manage, and for upgrading, updating cycles and all, we need to have the staff power. But in cloud, that is not needed. And it focuses on innovation here in cloud, but in on-premises, it's purely focused on the system administration. And on-premises, the capacity is fixed, right? You cannot go beyond that particular capacity. But in on-cloud, all in cloud, it is flexible. Okay, as I quote for Amazon example, now today it is 100, you can achieve it. Tomorrow it is 1 lakh, yes, it is still possible. That flexibility is there, provided by cloud platforms. And as we know, the speed, because we don't want to worry about the bandwidths and all, the speed is relatively high in cloud, while in on-premises, it depends upon your setup. Okay, and most important thing is if you're going for on-premises, example, if you are establishing a server in Coimbatore, it covers only the limited geographical areas. All right, you cannot like no, still it is accessible in US, but it will relatively the traffic will be high and it will be relatively slow. But if you're going for cloud, you can reach the global on demand within a click. That we're gonna see when we log in the AWS console. So you can go for your global within a seconds. So suppose if your customers are more in the US, or if your customers are more in Singapore, or if there is a large demand for your website in say like in Canada, okay, you can have your setup mission there in Canada itself within a click. By sitting here, without traveling there, we can have it immediately. But if you're going for on-premises, these things are not possible. Okay, so mainly what is the cloud computing platform is for? You can host your application, you can use it as a storage, or you can use it as a backup, and you can also use it as a content delivery, database, blockchain, now recently IoTs. Okay, a lot of things are there possible. Right. It's a few major comparison in terms of, let us start with the storage. Okay. In storage, if you're going for on-premises, okay, you may focus on relational database. But in AWS, you can go for S3, you can go for Elastic, you can go for RDS. A lot of additional services are possible. And in terms of networking, in on-premises, it depends on router, switches, and cables. But in cloud, it purely depends upon a load balancer. It depends on virtual private cloud, VPCs. Okay. And in terms of security, here in on-premise, we will be using firewall and access control list, and we will be having an administrator for managing that. But while in AWS or in cloud, you'll be having security groups, network policies, and IAM user, that is identity and access management. Those kind of things are there. It's just a comparison to see how our on-premises is compared with the cloud platform. So major thing is, we have the high availability and the fault tolerance is here, scalable, is you can easily grow in size, that is possible, and elasticity, that is a major thing here. So we have 6 benefits. Let us see one by one. The first thing, if you migrate from on-premises to the cloud, means the first one is your capital expense of variable expense. So today you are investing 1 lakh come out, but tomorrow if your need changes, okay, again you cannot come and invest it. If it is in a cloud now, you can meet up the variable expenses easily because you are going for pay-as-you-go model, and massive economics of scale will be there. Okay, and major advantages, you can capacity planning, you can plan well in advance. Suppose if you're going for on premises, you need to be guessing that how many number of people will be using after a year, and it may differs, and if it differs now, you cannot you'll be in a situation to not to address that. But if you're going for cloud, it eliminates this guessing, because since you're going for pay as you go model, whenever there is a demand, you can auto scale it. That option is provided here. Okay, and it increases your speed and agility also. Like you're setting up the infrastructure in cloud, and within a maximum of 5 minutes the resource will be available. Okay, likewise, you can uh, provide the availability of your services, and you can increase your experimentations. Okay, uh, you don't want to spend more money for running cost, because in cloud, as you're using in the cloud, you don't want to pay for your internet, you don't want to pay for your ACs, you don't want to pay for your staffs. Okay, you can stop spending money on running and maintaining the data centers. This will be taken care by the cloud providers. Okay, so as a result, we can focus only on the customers, we can focus on the projects. Okay, that how it differentiates the businesses. Okay, and we don't want to much worry about the data centers here. And as I said, now we can go global in a minute. So this is a geographical area. You can see uh, the numbers. Okay, the rounded numbers, or the regions. Okay, you can see if you are sitting in India, if you want to cover Australia. Okay, you can go within a second. You can just check your region and you can go there. You can deploy it there. So likewise, you can go global in a minutes. That is achievable via the cloud platforms. Right. So what is the AWS means? So now we come to the AWS. What does this AWS will do? Actually, AWS, if you want to understand Amazon Web Service, first we need to understand what is a web service. So web service is a piece of software that makes itself available over the internet, and uses a standard format like JSON or XML for the request and response of the API interactions. So whenever there is a request comes, whenever there is a response goes, it comes in the format of XML or in the format of JSON. So what does the AWS do? So AWS, Amazon Web Service, is a secure cloud platform which has more than 150 services. Okay, 150 services are there, like for computing, for analytics, for machine learning, for networking, for database. It covers a vast services out there. Okay, by category wise, let us see. If you see the compute, okay, for compute we have AWS EC2, Lambda, auto scaling, AWS Lightsail. Okay, and if you're going for networking, we have the Amazon Virtual Private Cloud. We will see what is my VPC and all, and we have Route 53. And if you're going for storage, like how your Google Drive is there now, similarly we have S3, we have EBS, we have CloudFront, Glacier for backups. Okay, and for database we have RDS, NoSQL databases also. Okay, for analytics. So these are the some of the services which AWS has. So for IoT also they have AWS IoT, Greengrass. All right. So for developing, so I'm just showing the some of the services which are provided by AWS. All right. So these are the core services, the highlighted ones like EC2, Lambda, Beanstack, VPC, Route 53, ODS. These are the basic core services, okay, which you will be using for majority of the products. Right. So now quickly, let us jump into that AWS console. So I'm just Googling it AWS, and the first link I'm getting it off Amazon Web Service. Right. So this will be my home page in AWS, right? Before logging inside, I would like to say one thing here. AWS gives a free tier. Suppose we are the from educator side, and if you want to educate students on cloud platform, particularly on AWS, or if your students want to build any project on AWS, yes, AWS gives you free tier access. Okay, they just want to create a free account, and in that free tier, we will be having this number of services. You can use it for free. Example, Amazon S3 now we can have it for 5 GB. For a EC2 will also be there. 750 hours of EC2 you can use it off. You can create a virtual machine. You see EC2 is free for 12 months. Okay, and some of them is for free always. Lambda function is free for always. 1 million requests you can put per month. Okay, and it is free every till lifelong. So likewise, some free access are there. So for learning purpose, we can make use of these free access for building projects or for doing our research projects. Right. So I have my own console. Let me sign into the console. So this will be your login page, and here you can see two things are there. One is a root user, and the another thing is IAM user. So root user is the owner. Okay, the owner for that login. So say like myself, this is my ID, this is my account, so I am the owner. That we call it as a root user. IAM means identity and access management. Example, I am giving under my account, I am giving some portion of access to XYZ person. So for that, I can create a IAM user and I can give the access to them. So such that, they will be having only access to that particular resource. Okay, so root user has access to the entire thing, but in IAM user, you can limit it. Okay, so which user should use which services. So likewise, you can specify or you can limit that. That is the purpose of IAM user. So let me log in as a root user. So this will be your login page. Once you logged in, you can see what are the recent services you use and AWS Health. If there is any issues, that will be reported here. And what about the cost? Okay, how much cost is for you? How much usage is there? As I said, no, it is a pay-as-you-go model. You need to pay for what you are using. Okay, and it gives a lot of information here. And if you go to the click on the services, okay, here you can see a list of services is listed out. Example, category wise, you start with analytics. Okay, if you go to the analytics, what are the further services that like Athena, AWS Clean Room, Cloud Search? Like now, if you go to application integration or if you are building on a blockchain, if you go to the blockchain, Amazon managed blockchains are there where you can see Ethereum public blockchain. Yeah, you can see the public blockchain is going on. If you want to create a serverless blockchain, that you can possible, or if you want to create a private networks, you can also create a private network and have a blockchain there. So like this, it will give you a lot of things over there. Suppose if you're working on database, you want to have the database in your cloud. Okay, if you click on database, you see you have MongoDB database, DynamoDB, Elastic Cache. Likewise, it gives a list of database. It is a services and you can click and you can use it off. If you want to go for machine learning, so these are the machine learning algorithms. Okay, we can use of it. And if you go to IoT, these are the services provided by AWS. That's what I said. Now 150 plus services are there. If you go to that, even if you want to build the robotics, okay, we have the AWS RoboMaker service. Here you can deploy that services within a minutes. And if you want to go for storage, you see S3, FX, EFX, backup. So these are the, I'm just trying to give you an idea about these are the number of services which are provided by AWS. 150 services are there, 150 plus services are there, which you can make use of it. All right. So first of all, let us see, we'll go with the S3. Okay. So S3 is similar to your Google Drive. So what we normally do in Google Drive, we used to store our files, we used to store our documents. It may be PDF, it may be TXT, or whatever the formats may be. We used to store it there. Please mute yourself. Thank you. Yeah. So like in Google Drive, we used to create a folder and we used to store the contents inside it, right? So here in S3, Amazon S3, it is mainly used for storing and retrieving any amount of data from anywhere. So if you want to upload a 2 gig of data, if you want to download 2 gig of file, single file, yeah, that is possible. If you want to upload 1 KB of file and you want to download it, yeah, that is also possible. So you don't want to worry about the amount of data and you don't want to worry about the geographical area also. So it is possible. You can store any amount of data and you can retrieve any amount of data from anywhere. So here we call that folders as a buckets. In AWS, we call in S3 particularly, we don't call it as the folders. Instead, we call it as a buckets. So that's why you can see you create a bucket. Okay. So every object in S3 is stored in a bucket. Every object means the files. Okay. What are the things you're putting inside? That we call it as object. And every object is stored in a particular bucket. Okay, so like in Google Drive, we call it as a folder files, right? Here we call it as an object bucket. Yeah, I hope you understand about what is in the S3 and what S3 does and how to store, how to retrieve, and what is in the bucket. Right. Before clicking on create a bucket, okay, I just want to have a look at this one. You see, US East North Virginia is selected. So this what you call it as an geographical area, no? You call it as a geographical area. Suppose if you want to deploy this bucket in Asia, suppose, or if you want to deploy this bucket in Canada, okay, or you want to deploy in London, so that the people in London can access it faster. Okay, so that's what I'm talking about. So that is possible. So this is geographical area, okay, that is easily possible. That we call it as a regions. So these are the regions. Asia Pacific is a region, Canada is a region, Europe is a region, Israel is a region. Okay, this is a region. Inside each region, you can see the locations. Example, inside Asia, you see Hong Kong. Inside Asia, you see Hyderabad. This is said to be the availability zones. Okay, so if you see in India, we have one availability at Hyderabad, another at Mumbai, and apart from that, we also have availability zone at Chennai also, which is hidden to the user because Chennai we normally use it for the backup purpose. Okay, so likewise in each region, they will be having one hidden availability zone that is particularly used for the backup purpose. The main reason is, so the data, whatever things you put in the cloud, that should be 100% we expect to be available always, irrespective of your attacks, irrespective of your disasters. Our data need to be available 100%, right? So what AWS does is, so it gives you this region, and inside each region we have the availability zones, and in each region they have one particular availability zone which is not accessible to the end users. Instead, they will use that availability zone for the backup purpose. Say like I'm selecting Mumbai, so all my files will be stored only inside the Mumbai server. Example, okay. So you see now I selected the Mumbai. So under ASL specific, my Mumbai is selected now. So all my files will be stored in Mumbai. Suppose if there is a terrorist attack happen in Mumbai, what about your files? So you need to have the backup now. So the backup may be in somewhere outside, maybe in Chennai, or it may be in Hyderabad or somewhere. They will be having some backup regions also. So that's how AWS ensures 100% availability always. So here what I'm doing, suppose this bucket is accessible by people, customers in US. So I want to have it in US. The reason is the traffic, latency. So those kind of things, you can keep in mind, and then you can select your region accordingly. So I'm selecting Northern Virginia. Okay. So reason I'm assuming my customers are there in US. So they will be accessing maximum customers there in US. So I'm selecting US. Okay. So I'm clicking on a bucket, creating a bucket. So when you click on create a bucket, it will give you this configuration page. So in configuration, the first thing is you need to select your bucket type. So whether your bucket is a general purpose or it is a directory structure. Okay. So general purpose means like it is a mixture. It is a mixture of files, what you're going to store, and here you don't want to worry about your latencies. If you're going for this directory, it is mainly for the low latency purposes. Okay. So I'm selecting the general purpose, and here I'm giving my bucket name. So my bucket name, I'm giving it as a demo. Okay. So when I click on demo, Okay. Next, it talks about the ownership. Here the security comes. Okay, whether you want to have the access control list disabled or you want to enable it. So say like I want to enable my access control list. Okay, and who will be the owner? So bucket owner, or you want to have someone else. So I'm giving the bucket owner. So by default, all the public access will be disabled, or public access will be disabled by default for any buckets you create. Suppose if you want to have this bucket access outside, here you need to uncheck it, and next you want to acknowledge this. So that what it means is, I can able to access this bucket anywhere in the world. Okay, publicly. Public access, I'm talking about the public sharing. And if you want to have the versioning and all, you can give it off. If you want to add a tag, bucket tags, that you can add it here. And encryption, what type of encryption you want to go with it? Whether you want to go with SSE type or KMS type, okay, that encryption types you can specify it here. Suppose you don't have much idea about security, go with the default configuration. Like, have a server-side encryption with AWS S3 keys. Okay, I'm enabling the bucket key also, and now I'm clicking on create bucket. You see it is throwing me an error. What it says is bucket with the same name already exists. So one of the main important thing in a S3 bucket is this name should be unique. So it should be a unique name. Okay, so I'm putting something like a demo shared YouTube, something unique name. I'm putting it here. Okay, so when I click on create a bucket, yeah, now the bucket has been created. You see the bucket has been created, and this is my name of the bucket, and this bucket has been created in this region and this availability zone in United States East, in availability zone Northern Virginia. It's where my bucket has been created. So your AWS servers is running all around that regions now. Like you are creating your bucket in that particular region. So that's what this talks about. Okay. So after creating this bucket, I'm just clicking on my one, and you see no objects are there. Okay, like it is similar to your Google Drive folder. Suppose if you want to upload any file or any folders, you click on upload and you can upload it. Okay, let us see one by one. Let us go to the properties, and what are the configuration you give it there, that thing will be displayed here. Okay, and one of the major important thing in S3 bucket is, if you want to create a static website and if you want to host it, that is easily possible in S3. For static website, it is easily possible in S3 and you can host it within a minute. Okay. Let us see how to host a static website later on. And if you go to the permissions, okay, it by default it blocks, but we override the permission, and now it says it allows all the public access. Suppose if you want to write any policies, that policy can be written here. Okay, the policy should be written in JSON format. Okay, and access control list. Okay, that ACL we enable it now. That ACL, if you want to edit it, if you want to configure anything, okay, that you can do it here in this page. And if you go to the metrics, here it will display the number of objects, it will display the bucket size, okay, and like kind of analytical purpose. So what kind of your bucket is storing data, on what size it is, those kind of things, you can see in the metrics. And in management, like you can create a lifecycle rule. Like after 10 days, my bucket wants to be archive, or it want to be delete, or it want to be replicate. Okay, those kind of rules you can specify it here. And in terms of access point, okay, access point, like endpoints that are attached to the bucket for simply accesses. Okay, that access point you can specify it, but maximum we won't do this access points at all. Okay, let us go to the object. So what I am going to do is, so this bucket named demo shared view, I'm going to host my static website here. Okay, I'm going to host my static website which is written in HTML, and I want to host it here. Let us see how to do it. Okay, so for that, the first thing is we need to go to the properties, scroll down. You see here static website hosting. So click on edit, and by default it is disabled. Now we need to enable this. So it will say, you want to host a static website or you want to redirect? No, I want to host a static website. So what will be your index document? So we know what is my index.html, right? So it is an indexing entry point. So it is a default page. So I'm giving my default point will be index.html. Okay, suppose if there is any error page, what page should be navigated? So if you want, you can specify it here. Otherwise, you can click on save changes. So now what I did was, I enabled the static website and AWS has created the URL for me. You see HTTP demo archive something, it has created my URL. So when I click on the URL, you see access has been denied. Access has been denied and it gives a request ID, it gives a 403 error, which means the access is denying for these buckets. Okay, so let us see how to do it. Okay, so now in the object here there is no file now. So now I want to upload a file. So for that I'm opening my Sublime editor. So let us go to the new file. So I'm just putting welcome to my page and I'm saving this file. In the name index.html. Okay, this is done now. So now coming back to my AWS, so I want to upload that file. I click on upload, and as I said, no, you can upload a files or you can upload a folder also. I just want to upload my file. I'm clicking on add file, and I'm going to the desktop. Okay, and I'm just checking for index.html. Something is there. Index.html. I'm just uploading it. So file has been uploaded. Right now, your file has been uploaded. Now, what happened? So network error is there. So these network errors are from my side, not from AWS side, from my side. Okay, I'm just closing it. Let me try once again. Okay, you see now upload has been done. So I'm just closing this. And you see inside the object, you have that file, index.html, window has been updated, or what is the size, okay, what about the storage class, everything has been displayed here. And if you go to the metrics, it is not yet updated, it will take time for it to update, okay. So now come here. So like this, if you want to have n number of files, you can upload it, okay. So now, if you go to the properties, and if you go to that link, still it will give you the error. So the reason is we are using the ACL. We didn't enable the ACL. So what we need to do, we need to go to the object, select that file. Okay, because we are going for the security concern, ACL, we enabled ACL. So go to action and here you see make public using ACL. Either you can do this or else you need to write the policy. Okay, so I am making it public by using the ACL. So now it says it has been public, and if you come here and if you refresh this page, you see now welcome to my page has been displayed. So I'm using this S3 bucket to host my static website. So here you see what is meant by S3, how to host your website, how to deal with the securities, what are the security concerns involved in this now. So this is about S3. Likewise, you can create your n number of buckets. So for this, you will be paying for how many requests coming, how many upload you are doing it off. Only you want to pay for that. All right. So likewise, you can enable your website without server by using this S3 bucket within a minute in any region you like. I hope you understood what is meant by this S3 and all. Yeah. Okay. Shall we move to the next one?
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir, please.
On screen, it is showing that live is sharing on YouTube. Due to this, we cannot see the full screen for your presentation.
Uh, sir, sure, sir. Organizers will look into that. Sir, please look into that, sir. Jagdish, sir, I request you to look into that matter, please. Suraj, sir, it will be considered. Yeah. Shall I proceed to the next service?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay.
Sir, your presentation is clearly visible only, sir. You can carry on.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Okay. Uh, Now let us see that I am now. We talked something about I am. Okay. This thing I'm referring about. I'm just sign out and I'll show you. Uh, when you click on sign in, there are two things that are displayed. One is root user and one other thing is I am now. Now let us see how to configure this I am user. So if I go to the root user, I can able to access all the services in the AWS. I need to access it off. Like if you see all the services here displayed here. If you want to go for Amazon Lex, if I click, I can go there and I can create it. Okay, so IAM is the one. IAM stands for Identity and Access Management. Okay, so now let us see how to create an IAM user so that only particular service can be used for that particular person. Okay, we'll see that. So for that, in the services search, just type IAM. You can see this one. Click on this IAM. Okay, now you can see this here. All right. So now go to the users. You see no user has been created. So now I'm going to create a new user. So that user name I'm giving it as a demo. Okay. And I'm providing to the console access also. So for that, I'm creating a new user and I'm giving the password. Okay, I have created it and if you want the user to change the password that you can enable it, otherwise you can leave it off. Okay, I'm just giving the password and I'm going to next. Okay, so here you see the permissions. Either you can simply add a user to the existing groups, or else you can copy the permission from some group to here, or else you can attach the policy directly. Example, I have created a user called demo. Here I'm going to attach the policy that demo can able to access only S3. Okay, he cannot able to access other things. He can able to access only S3. Other services he should not access. So like means I'm giving S3 now. In S3 you see this JSON. Okay, I'm just giving this S3 full access. So which means this demo user can able to access only these services. Other services are restricted. Okay, even in S3 also you can give read access, write access, read only access, those kind of things are there. But here I'm giving S3 full access. Then I'm going to next. Okay, this is a permission summary which I given S3 full access for this user demo. I'm creating a user. You see the user has been created, right? If you want to download it, you can download it, or if you want to, this URL is very important. Okay, this 12-digit number is very important, which you need to copy it somewhere. So now I'm logging out. Okay. Again, I'm trying to log in inside, but now this time I'm going with the IAM user. You see the 12-digit number comes now, 12-digit number which I show you there. That you need to copy it, paste it here, and when you click on next, it will give you what is your username. So the username what we created is demo, and the password I have given and that I'm typing it here. When I click on sign in, I think I missed it by password. Just give me a minute. I did some mistake with the password. Okay, I think I have missed the password. I'm deleting this user and type it again. Okay, user one. I'm just giving user at KEZ, all small. Okay, attaching the policies. Okay. I'm trying to log in. So going with I am okay, user one, user at KEC1. Yeah, now it logged in, huh? Right. Okay. Now, once you logged in, here also you can see all the services. Okay. What are the things we seen in the root account that will be displayed here? But do remember, we have given access only to the S3. Okay. Suppose if you want to go for some other thing, say like if I want to go for IoT, maybe IoT core. Okay. Let us. Okay, this thing will be clearly on compute. We'll go with eCity. This you can easily see that. Ah, here I am trying to launch some instance. Okay, if I'm trying to launch some instance, you see it doesn't allow me. It says AMA is not valid, no longer exists. Okay, even if I generate to create a new pair, this key pair will also not allow me. Okay, likewise, it will show you, but it won't allow you to create that resource. It won't allow you to utilize that resource. Okay, similarly, if you go for S3, it will give you the full access. If you go for the S3, no problem. You can create a bucket, no problem with that. You can do it off. That is not an issue, and that thing will also be shared here. That is not a problem here. But if you're going for some other services, no, it won't allow you to. That's the purpose of IM user. So likewise, you can create a n number of users, and you can also give access to any resource what you like. Okay. So I'm just signing out here. Okay. So here, so now I believe you understood how to create an IM user and how to give access rights to that particular user. Okay. So this is no longer needed. So I'm just deleting this. So the best practice in AWS is if you're trying with the one services, you learned it. If you no longer required means please try to delete it. Otherwise, you will be ending up with facing the bills for that. So likewise, we created S3 also. So now S3 bucket is running. I don't want this S3 anymore. So what I need to do, I need to go inside, delete the object first. You see here, delete. So you need to type permanently. Okay, permanently delete. Object has been deleted. You need to delete the object first, then only you can delete your buckets. Okay, I'm deleting this bucket. So AWS gives you this wonderful feature. It prevents you from accidentally deleting anything. Okay, if you want to delete something, it will give you the alert. Like if you want to delete a bucket demo side, you need to type in demo side, then only it will delete that. It's like a confirmation. Bucket has been deleted. So it is the best practice, to have. If you're learning something, learn it. After you learn it, try to delete it as soon as possible. Otherwise, you'll be ending up in paying the huge bill for that. So now we learned about S3. We learned about IAM. Okay, so two things we learned it now. So now let us go for the interesting one, which is EC2. EC2. EC2 stands for Elastic Compute Cloud. C2, Elastic Compute Cloud. I'm going it inside. So this will be your dashboard for EC2. So EC2 is a elastic compute cloud. It is like kind of a virtual machine in the cloud. You can have your Linux machine, you can have your Mac machine or Windows server, anything. It's like a virtual machine running in the cloud. Okay. Right. So here, these are the things, like instances, how many instances you are running. Okay. This what talked about auto scaling. In the earlier, I talked about now, as your customers grows, you need to scale it immediately. And when your customers shrink, you need to shrink the resources. That's what called as a auto scaling. And we'll see one by one. Huh? I'm just clicking on trying to create a new instance. As no instance is running, I'm trying to create a new instance. I'm clicking on launch instance. So it asks me my name. So what is my, so mainly I use it for my web server. Okay. So what AMAs you want? So AMA is like, Amazon images. Okay. Like how you call the image file, OS file, ISO or IMG file. No? Likewise, what AMAs you want? You want Amazon Linux or you want Mac OS, you want Ubuntu? Excuse me. You want Ubuntu or Windows? Okay. If you click on a browse more AMA, you can see a lot of things will be displayed. So you have Mac Sonoma version, you have SUSE Linux, you have Ubuntu, you have Windows Server 22 base. Okay, which version you want? You can go for it. Okay, suppose you want to search Ubuntu. Okay, you see that it's not getting up. Yeah. Okay, I want to go for Ubuntu. I'm just clicking into Ubuntu. And it gives me free tier eligible. Yes, I'm going with the free tier. I don't want to pay anything additional. So what about an instance? Okay, this instance type is very important. So here you see T2 nano, T2 micro, T2 small, medium, large. Okay, you can see extra large, C5. This thing talks about your CPU capacity, like your RAM capacity and your processor capacity. Okay, suppose if I'm going for T2 micro, you see my core will be one core and my RAM will be 1 gig of RAM. So for if I'm using Linux now for 1 hour, it will be charging about $0.01. Similarly, if I'm going for C5 large, okay, C5 large, you see for 1 hour, it's charging me 0.07. And you see two CPU, two core and 4 gig of RAM. So likewise, depending upon your requirement, you can choose it. This is where, cloud comes into picture. If I want to establish on premises, okay, I'm going with say like T2 micro, like one core and 1 gig of RAM. Maybe in future, suppose my application is not coping up, I want to increase at the time. How is it possible? It is not possible. Again, I need to reinvest. The invested money is wasted and I need to go for the new purchase. So if it is going for the cloud, you can change it anytime you like. So here I'm selecting my instance type, and the most important security aspect here is the key pair. That is your login key. Okay, so if you have the previous keys and if you want to use it, that you can select it here, which is not recommended basically. For each instance, you want to create a key pair. Key pair is like your password to that resource. Okay, so I'm creating a new pair. I'm using RSA and I'm using Mac OS. Okay, my host is Mac, so I'll be going for .pem. Suppose if you are using Windows where you'll be having putty software, you can go for PPK. Okay, so my computer runs on Mac, so I'll be using SSH. So if you're basically from Linux family, you know what is my SSH. So I'm going with PEM and creating a new key pair. So I'm just giving it as a my key and I'm creating a new key pair. So once you created a new key pair, that key pair will be downloaded. Okay, you can see that key pair is downloaded. My key.pm is downloaded. Oh, now comes the network settings. Okay, there you can see your virtual private cloud will be enabled for you, your subnets, your elastic IP, your security groups. Okay, if you're well versed in networkings and all, you can touch it. Otherwise, if you don't have any idea, just you want to simply establish your EC2, you just agree the default things and go with it. Say like I want to create a virtual machine that allows me to access via SSH protocol from anywhere. So here you give anywhere. Suppose you want to access from only the custom IP, you can give this custom, okay, or only from my particular machine where I am working, that is my IP. So there is a machine which I am working on. So likewise, you can configure it. But now by default, I am giving the access to anywhere, okay. And I'm going to create a web server also, which uses the HTTP traffic that is also accessible from anywhere. I'm checking it off. So other things, you see 1 gig, by default, I'm not touching anything, and I'm just click on launch instance. So AWS software will do the magic for you. It will create a virtual machine for you for the configuration what you have selected, and it will take you a matter of 1 to 2 minutes. So within the 2 minutes, your instance will be set up and it will be ready to use. Let us wait for it. Meantime, if you go to the instances, you see no instances at the time. Once this process has been completed now, you can able to see an instance on that T2 micro will be running here, on which available is on all the things, we can able to see it here. Just wait for 2 minutes. Actually, for the first time, for setting up the instances, it deals with a lot of policies background. So it maybe take time at the first time. But once your instance is set up, no, then it won't take that much of time. Okay. Till the instance setup, we will jump into the next services. So we don't want to wait for this instance to set up. Let the instance carry on. Because it is only 21%. Oh, it's done. Yeah, you see our instance has been set up, and if you go to the instance page, if you refresh it, you see your web server, what you created, and the instance ID, whether it is active or pending, what instance type it uses, okay, where it is, and what about the public IP, everything, you can able to see it here. When you click on this, you can see the further details. Okay. I'm closing this one. Okay. Okay, likewise, you can set up your instance. You see now your instance state is running. Now your instance is running. Okay, right. Now I want to say like I want to connect to this instance via SSH. Okay, how to do? So for that, you see, select the instance and click on connect. Suppose if you are using SSH client, you need to follow this. Okay, so the key is the one which you downloaded already. After you downloading it, you need to SSH the command. We'll see. I'm going to the terminal. Okay, I'm going to downloads. Okay, the name of the file is mykey.pim. Okay, so for that mykey.pim, you need to give that 400 right. Okay, so I'm just giving chmod 400 mykey.pim. So once that access has been given, now I'm trying to SSH it. Okay, this is a command SSH I my key which you downloaded, and this Ubuntu EC2 is the public IP address of your instance which you have created here. So this highlighted one is from here. You can see. This is the public IP address. Okay, this is what I'm trying to do. So this is what I have given it there also. Okay. Okay. Now I'm pressing on enter. Okay, it's getting connected. I'm giving yes. You see, now I have been connected to that Ubuntu machine. So I've been connected to that Ubuntu instance, which is running on the AWS cloud. So this I am doing it in from my computer. I'm can able to access the Ubuntu machine, which is running on the cloud. Let us see the uptime. With the uptime, how long it is running. You see, server is running for 2 minutes and I'm the one user. So now we know how to set up the instance in the AWS cloud and how to access that instance from your local computer. Got it? So now I want to install Apache web server in my Ubuntu machine and I want to access it publicly. So previously we seen how to create a website in S3 bucket, no, so serverless. But now here we have set up a server and we will be installing Apache server, Apache web browser, and we'll be uploading your files and let us see how to access it from the outside internet. So for that I need to install. I'm installing Apache. You see how fast the file gets installed. Okay, now Apache has been installed. Let us check the status of it. Okay, Apache is running. Okay, that's fine. Okay, now let us try to navigate inside. CD var www. So that's where your history docs will be located. Okay, CD HTML. Okay, inside that. Okay, you have index.html now. Okay, some file is there. Let us open that file and see. Okay, some default Apache files was there. That's fine. So now we have uploaded our file, or we have set up the Apache web browser in that Ubuntu machine in AWS cloud. Okay, now let us see how to access this. So for that, I'm going back here. Okay, I'm going back here, and you see, you have the public IP address now. You just click on this one. That outbound route, inbound route also we have set it 80/80. Let us wait for the page to get loaded. You see, Ubuntu default page is loaded. So this is in the running on that instance uh, that is running on this virtual machine web server, which is having the Ubuntu operating system. So we can able to access this website anywhere in the internet. Okay. So maybe I can also post in the chat so that you can also check it off. It will be accessible anywhere in the world. Okay. So now let us see, we will change this HTML. Okay, for that I'm going back to my terminal and I'm opening, I'm creating a new file. So let us delete that file. Okay, sudo remove index.html. So my file has been deleted. Okay, now if you come back, if you refresh it, you see no file is there. So now what I'm doing, I will be creating a new file. Hi. Welcome to AWS. Okay, I'm just putting this file. Right, now we'll go back to the server. You see, hi, welcome to AWS training by Jiva. It's get loaded. So likewise, you can set up your server, you can set up your virtual machine in the cloud. Okay, I'm just using only the Apache. Okay, if you want to have MySQL or if you want to have MongoDB databases, Okay, that also you can set up in this virtual machine. All right. So you just want to pay for what you're using. Suppose if your demand is more and if you want to scalability, okay, you can stop that instance and you can change the T2 micro into extra large also. So you'll be paying for what you're using it. Or else if you want to do it automatically, okay, then you can enable the auto scaling. Okay, that will be based on the request. It will be automatically scaled. And when for the particular dates, whenever it gets scaled, you want to pay for that alone. So you'll be paying for what you are actually consuming. Okay. So likewise, you can set up your virtual machine within a minutes. Okay, easily by using this AWS easy to service. So I believe you understood how to set up an easy to how to access it, how to do the security policies and all. Okay, and how to access our website. So in S3 we have set up the static website, but here in now what we seen is we will be setting up a server. For that you set up an infrastructure, you set up a platform, and then you establish that software, Apache server software, and then you put your file and you access it. So that is a major difference between S3 and this EC2. All right. So once you're done, okay, suppose if you want to no longer use it, select that service, go to instance, stop that instance. Let us first stop it off. And after it's stopped, okay, that's the best practice, once you've done your exercise, experiment, okay, immediately you want to terminate that instance. Otherwise, you'll be ending up in making the unwanted payments. So now my instance has been successfully terminated. After this shutting down, my instance will get terminated automatically. Now, if you go and refresh your web page, no, you won't see anything because that server has been deleted. So if you refresh this page, you won't get this message. Once the page is get loaded, you'll get page not found error. You see, now my instance has been terminated, which means it has been destroyed. Okay. So next time if you log out and log in, you can't able to see this one. And you see this web page, it says failed to open because that server has been shut down. It has been removed. Okay. So far we seen what is meant by IAM, how to configure IAM, what is meant by S3, and now we discussed about EC2. Okay, we have time. We'll see one interesting another thing also different aspect. We'll see that chatbot. We'll go to Amazon Lex because these are the things most of the students are showing good interest in creating a chatbots. So by using Amazon Lex, it is another service provided by AWS, powered by Bedrock, which is one of the services in AWS. By using this, you can create the chatbots easily. Okay, I'm just click on Amazon Lex and this page get loaded now. So here I'm just going and clicking on create a bot. It gives me this 4 options. If you want to build a Gen AI automatically based on the text, descriptive text, it will create a chatbot for you. Or else if you want to create a blank bot and you want to configure, or you want to start with an example, or if you want to translate, okay, you can select accordingly. I'm going with a blank bot. So I'm just giving it as a my booking. Okay, I'm just configuring it as my booking. And if you want to give any permissions, okay, you can give it off. I'm creating a new role, and whether this bot is subject to child's policy, which is by COPA policy in US. Okay, no, it is not needed. You can click on next. Actually, this delay, I think it is from my network side, not from the AWS side. Maybe my bandwidth was a little bit slow. We'll just wait for a minute. Come on. Okay, I'm just canceling it and creating it once again. Okay. Next it gives you the language. No, it goes for the language. Okay. If you want to go with the Indian in English or voice also, if you want to go with Kajal or Ravina, some voices will be displayed. And if you want to play, you can also check it off, or you can also add more languages. Okay. I'm just clicking on done. So my bot has been created. Okay. So now intent. I'm gonna configure the intent. Intent means like how you uh, approach that chatbot. Okay. What are the things you will give? So example in the intent you see I'm giving greetings. I'm just putting it as a greeting so that what you do whenever you come. You will say hi, or you will say hello, or you will say namaskar, or you will say vanakkam. No, different things. Okay, what are the things you give as an input that you call it as put it here, on what you should respond. Okay, the response message also you can give it here. Okay, I'm just putting welcome. Welcome to chatbot. Okay, uh, I'm just saving the intent. Okay, you can build it, or once it is successfully built, you can test that bot also. We need to wait for a minute for the build get succeeded. Yeah, build has been done. Now if you click on test, okay, you can give hi, or you see welcome to chatbot, or you can say vanakkam, or you give some other things, okay, which has not been given there. You put only hi vanakkam, no, you give something else, it will go for the another. Okay, you see this instant here, fallback intent, no, this fallback it goes for there. You have greetings, no, then you can create another intent also. Okay, you see now I want to, I'm putting as a learn. Okay, here I'm just typing AWS, or I want to learn AWS. Okay, or learn what are the ways the user will interact. The things I'm just putting it here, and what should be the response. Okay, I'm putting glad to hear. Uh, Please contact Jiva. I'm just putting like that for example. Okay. Uh, then I'm saving this instant, and I'm building this. So like this, you can create n number of intents. Okay. Let us wait for this build to get succeed. Okay, build got succeed now. Right, now you click on test. Okay, here you see if you type hi, it will say welcome to chatbot. Okay, now if I am typing I want to learn AWS. Glad to hear, please contact. Likewise, I'm just showing you an example. Likewise, you can create your chatbots easily. Okay, AWS gives you this Amazon Lex option. You can go for either editor mode or visual builder. You can see the visual builder. Okay, what should do, like it comes AWS, glad to hear, then where it should go, like this, you can do the code hooks also. It's an example I'll just give you. Okay, I'm typing Vanakkam. Okay, AWS. Those are the words, you can put it and you can build your chatbot for your projects easily. Okay. So once you're done, I believe you learned what is meant by this, how to create this chatbot and what is meant by Amazon Lex. Okay. So once you're done, you go back to the bots. Your bot will be displayed. Select your bot name, and in the action, ah, suppose if you want to export this bot, okay, if you want to export this bot to your different platforms, okay, you can do like that. Action export. If you want in a JSON format, okay, it gives a platform. As of now, it gives Lex format platform. If you want to convert in JSON format, yes, do it and export. You will get your this bot what you created now, that you can download it. You see, now it has been downloaded. Now it has been downloaded. Okay, all the things, what are the configurations I did, I have downloaded, and I can import it in some other things, and I can make use of it. Okay. So I'm just deleting this. Likewise, you can export your, you can create a chatbot here and you can export it also. Okay, I'm creating this chatbot. Okay, so the reason why I'm deleting this is I don't want to end up with paying the bills for that. Okay, so if you are using free tier user, you should be very careful. Once you resource, what are the services you are testing it, experimenting it. After the finishing completion of that experiment, you try to delete that services. Right. Okay, now it's done. So far we see EC2, S3, IAM, Amazon Lex. Okay. Now we go for this. We'll see one thing in IoT, maybe IoT core. So IoT core, it gives you the service. Your devices running on any platform can connect to this AWS IoT, and we can play with the MQTT messages. So MQTT stands for Message Queuing Telemetry Transport. You can play with that MQTT messages via topics. Okay, let us see how to configure a device. Okay, and how to communicate it. We'll see one by one. So for that, I'm clicking on AWS IoT. This page get loaded. Under the all devices, you see things. Click on things. So this demo 3, which is the previous one, listed. Okay, let it be there. So suppose we want to create a new thing. Okay, click on create a thing. If you want to create a single thing or you want to create a many things. So as of now, I'm showing you to create a single thing only. Next. MCA demo. I'm just putting it as MCA demo. Okay, I'm not touching on anything. I'm just clicking on next. I'm creating a new certificate. I'm generating a new certificate. So the certificate is like your passwords. Okay, you'll be having public, private, keys and all. Okay, I'm just clicking on that. Okay, then policies. It allows you to write the policies. Okay, so I already written a policy there. I'm selecting that policy, or else you can create a new policy also. I'll show you how to create a policy. So policy is the one which says who should use and what service they should use. Suppose if in policy effect you want to allow from whom, suppose you want to connect, publish or receive, or you want to allow all the things. So from where? Maybe from particular person or from particular area, or you want to simply give access to all. So this is what we call it as a policy. Okay. So this policy, I'm selecting it and I'm clicking on creating a thing. So once you click on it, it is a one-time page. This page will be displayed only once. You need make sure you are downloading all these certificates. So you need to download the device certificate. You need to download public key, private key, and root CA. Then click on done. You see now it has been set up. Okay. So now what I will be doing is in my local machine. Okay, in my local machine, there is something called as a Node-RED. Okay, you can Google it off. Node-RED is a thing mainly used for building IoT projects by click and drag. So I'm enabling the Node-RED. So Node-RED server is running. The port number is 1880. You see, this is my node, right? Okay, so let me. Okay, a lot of things are there. Okay, we'll go with this one. Okay, so Node-RED is like click and drag. You can build your projects mainly for IoT. They will use this Node-RED. I will show how to do it off. Okay, so I'm playing with the MQTT message. So I'm taking that MQTT. Okay, and this MQTT, double click it. You can see this property. Okay, so click on add a new broker, pencil icon. You can see this one. So here you need to give the server address. The server address you can get it here in AWS IoT under settings. Under settings here you see this endpoint now. This endpoint you need to copy and paste it here. It uses port number 888. So ensure you are changing this port number and use TLS. If you see TLS, it will ask you to do the TLS configuration. Click on this pencil icon. And here you need to upload your certificates. So click on certificate, downloads. Yeah, this is a certificate which we downloaded it. And your private key. So my private key is here. And the root CA. Those things, I downloaded from the internet. No, that thing I'm selecting it here. I'm updating it. So I'm not doing anything else. Okay. For the name, I'm giving it as MCA demo. I'm adding this. For topic, as of now, I'm not giving any topic. Okay, we'll see. Done. So when you click on deploy, it says connected. So which means your local IoT machine got connected to this AWS thing which you have created now. It has get connected there. So we can send the data and we can see. So for that, what I am doing is I'm making use of this client. Okay, so I'm subscribing it to the topic. So here we didn't mention any topics, right? So MQTT basically deals with the topic format. So I'm putting the topic as light 1. Let us put it as light 1. Okay. On the topic also I'm giving it as a light 1. Okay, done. And here in AWS also I'm subscribing it to the topic light 1. We'll see. When I click on subscribe, you see what are the things it comes, you can see it here. Okay. So for this, for injection, I'm putting on injection and I'm connecting this inside the timestamp. I'm just putting the string as, or we'll send a number. We'll send a number 1. Let us put it as on. Okay. Okay. So whenever I press on, 1 will be passed to this MQTT, and this MQTT is connected to where AWS IoT. And here you can able to get that message 1. We'll see. I'm deploying this. Okay, now I'm pushing 1. So now 1 is injected, and if you go back here, you can see 1 has been received. What time? 12:52. You are receiving 1. Suppose if you want to change this 1 into something else. Okay, let us change it as a string. Jiva, which is my name. I'm just putting it here. Done. Deploy. Okay, you see now 1. Okay, the latest release was this only 1. Okay, or I'm not receiving anything else, right? Now I'm pushing it from here. So now you should see the message Jiva here. You see Jiva is received in AWS IoT. So likewise, you can connect to the n number of devices. So similarly, you can publish from here and you can subscribe here also. We'll see that subscribe part. MQTT in. Okay, the topic what you're putting is light 1. QoS, I'm changing it to 0. Done. Okay. So for seeing the output here, I'm just putting the debug so that you can see that output here. So I'm deploying it here. You see now from here I will be sending, instead of Jiva, let me send Kongu Engineering College. Okay, so just imagine this is running on one computer or one IoT device, and this is running on another IoT device. Okay, virtually you try to split it off. This will be running on A machine and this will be running on B machine. Okay. So from A machine, if I send this message, it goes to AWS IoT. AWS IoT receive it. Okay. And from here, who are all subscribers? Okay. This light one is a subscriber. It receives the message and we can able to see it here. Common Engineering College. So likewise, no, you can have n number of subscribers, n number of publishers. So if you publish this message from here, say like hello from AWS IoT, if you publish it here, you can able to see it here, hello from AWS IoT. Or else you put a hi, how are you? You just publish it, you can able to see it here. All right. Likewise, you can play with this IoT devices. So this is another broad area. I'm just giving you an insight how AWS Cloud helps in achieving this. For this, for communication looks simple, but you see these configurations. We talked about this URL and we talked about TLS now, certificates, private key, CS certificate. Once the certificate is changes, if there is any modification in the certificate, you can be able to connect to that AWS IoT. So likewise, you can build your IoT project simply, quickly. And let us now quickly see a simple project so that you will get a clear idea. Okay, so now let us see the real-time example for this. Okay, so what I will be doing is, so this is my IoT device. Okay, so say like light one, my IoT device is here. This is in my home. Okay, so this is connected to the internet. Okay, this is connected to the internet, and internet means obviously it is connected to AWS also. AWS IoT also. And in the meantime, what I am doing is I am connecting to the Google Sheets also. Say like this will be your Google Sheets. Okay. So what I will be doing is inside this Google Sheet, okay, you'll be having a column, say like A1. If there is a value is A1 is set to be 1. Okay, obviously this light one will on. If this A1 is equal to 0, this light one will be off. Either I can change it from here or maybe I can push it from AWS also or maybe from different services also. Let us see in practically how it works. So for that, what I'm doing is I'm opening the sheets. Okay, let us go with this one. Okay, we have some A1, okay, light 1 and 2. Okay, so I have written an app script here. I'll just show you, don't worry much about it. I'm trying to show you how it works. Okay, this app script has been written by using JavaScript. So whenever a URL is called, okay, it will read the data, or whenever there is a write, it will correspondingly write the data. Okay, so if you go to the deploy, manage deployment, you can see this URL here. Okay, let me give you the URL push here. Execute command is equal to read. Okay, and cell is equal to A2. Okay, what is there? A2 one should be there. Or we'll write from here. We'll try to write. Write and cell is equal to A2 and we put value is equal to 0. Just copying this. Okay, value is did 0, and if you go back here, it should update. Why it is not updating? Okay, yeah, it is updating now. Yeah, it is updating. So now, what I do is by using this URL, okay, I can able to do the webhook. Okay, so suppose if you put 1, it will light on. If I put 0, the light will be off now. Okay, so inside this node RED, okay, inside this node RED, what I'll be doing is, so the data, we'll delete this one. Okay, I'm going for HTTP request. In that HTTP request, I'm using get. Okay, I'm just putting it as 1, done. So this instruction, I'm just putting it there. Here I'm checking it as get. I'm not worried about this data because I'm gonna, this payload, I'll be ignoring it. You see here in HTTP request, payload will be ignored. So you don't want to worry about it. So what I'm basically doing is, whenever I click on get, okay, the data from this Google Sheet should be get, and the thing should be passed to the AWS IoT. Okay, right now when I deploy, close. Whenever I deploy, if I click on get, it is requesting, it is getting, and it is pushing it here in AWS IoT. Got it? Yeah. So likewise, you can build your projects. Okay, you can build your projects by using linking different platforms. All right. Okay. Uh, so once you've done this project, you go back to the AWS IoT, go to things. So ensure you are deleting this thing. Otherwise, you'll end up with paying a lot. Okay. I'm closing all the things. Now things got deleted, right? Okay, once it is got deleted, you cannot be able to send it because this connection will be disconnected. This connection will get disconnected. Okay, you need to wait for the things till get deleted. Once it get deleted, you cannot be able to use your AWS IoT. So mainly we use this AWS IoT for pushing our MQTT messages. Okay, say like you have apartments in 10 places, 10 different cities. Okay, you want to turn that light on in all the apartments. So all the apartments security guard is on leave. So who will turn on it? You can make use of the IoT and make use of this AWS IoT. When you click send a message saying that all apartment lights on. Okay, this will be triggered to all the subscribers and the corresponding action will be taken place there. Okay, this is the main beauty of this AWS. So I think I show you different aspect. Okay, how to configure ECT, how to configure S3, IAM, how to create a chatbot, or how to create an IoT. You can also do it for machine learning, game development. Lot of services are available. Okay. Uh, I believe I have given you some insight about AWS. Now I'm open for discussion. If you have any doubts or anything, you can feel free to please ask me.
Thank you, sir, for your enlightening speech. Your insights were truly inspiring. Thank you to all the participants for your active involvement and contribution towards the program. Participants, we'll be having the next session in the same link by tomorrow by 11:30 a.m. Thank you. Thank you all.
Ma'am, thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the opportunity. Participants, I believe I have given you some insight about configuring the resources in cloud. I have shared my mobile number in chat window also. If you need any collaboration in AWS or IoT, you can contact me there. Thank you all. Thank you. Jai Hind.